As a young citizen of India, armed with technology, knowledge, and love for my nation, with a vision of transforming India into a developed nation, I'm joining Shobhit University. What about you?
Very good morning to all the participants from India and abroad. Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology Meerut, deemed to be university, and its centers of excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, extend greetings to all the participants from India and abroad who are attending today's national webinar series on doubling farmers' income by 2022, Atmanirbhar Bharat in agriculture. This webinar series is being hosted on every Thursday at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Today is 9th September 2021. The webinar is on the topic, Doubling the Income of Farmers through Eco-Agri Revolution. Let me repeat the title, Doubling the Income of Farmers through Eco-Agri Revolution, Ecological Farming. On behalf of the Honorable Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, the faculty members of the university, and on my behalf, and as Professor Emeritus and Chairman of Center of Excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Applications, Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Applications, and Center for Health Informatics and Computing. Let me welcome today's guest speaker, Padmashri, Dr. M.H. Mehta. He is the President, the Science Ashram, Baroda, Chairman, Gujarat Life Sciences Private Limited, Baroda, former visiting scientist at University of Arizona and California, USA, ex-Vice Chancellor, Gujarat Agriculture University, and founder president, Indian Association for IT and Agriculture, Gandhinagar, Gujarat, and the present chairman working group on eco-agriculture, organic farming, Indian Chamber of Food and Agriculture, New Delhi. For the benefits of the participants and the guest speaker, so far under this webinar series, the university has organized 44 webinars on the topics, namely, role of agriculture cooperative societies in e-governance, blockchain-based fishery value chain, a self-contained village, a felt need of the day, spices informatic network value chain, lantana camera, a camouflaged treasure trove, smart hill agriculture, a digitalized hill agriculture value systems, Mera mobile, Mera marketing, integrated mariculture, aquaponics, precision agriculture, in short, MAPA biofarms for income revolution, smart tribal agriculture, optimizing value chain, digital agri-tech and industry perspective, land resources information system in India, present and road ahead, weather decision technologies for increasing farm income, big data in smart farming, sustainable soil and land management for climate smart agriculture, understanding market dynamics for increasing farm income, role of technologies in mitigating crop risk, how to generate additional profit via simple, attractive approaches in farm produce, adoption of flexi rubber check dam technology, potential benefit for farmers in rain-fed and coastal agro ecosystems, realizing the economic benefits of agroforestry, Actosol, organic humic solutions for increasing crop yields and quality while increasing farm income and improving soil health, closing the nutrient loop, phosphorus management in protein farming, improving nutrient use efficiency and farm productivity, artificial intelligence enabled pest management technology for agricultural crop protection without pesticide, smart poultry monitoring solutions, agrobiodiversity, intellectual property laws, agriculture and farmer welfare, and insight into the issues for Indians' agrarian economy, manufacture and application of biochar for increased soil fertility and crop productivity, sustainable integration of livestock with agriculture for farm income increase, role of geographical indications on improving farmers' income, lessons from Asia Pacific region, dairy informatics network value chain, a dairy tech startups perspective for farmers' income increase, spices informatics network value chain, a turmeric startup perspective for farmers' income increase, generating sustainable on-farm income through fintech intervention, generating nutrition-sensitive agriculture, pathway for increasing farmers' income, artificial intelligence and data analytics to ensure optimal nutrition in the soil, harvested food that minimizes human disease, very important during the period in the era of COVID-19 pandemic situation. Bioenergy supply chain, a business opportunity for rural enterprises and farmer producer organizations. Tech enabling India's tech-starved farmers for rural enterprise for manifold increase in productivity and income. Open insurance ecosystem for agriculture producers, risk management solutions to overcome repercussions for farmers' income, market stability, and food safety. Role of mass media for farmers' income increase, a case study from Green TV. Agriculture Stack, open source digital infrastructure for the agriculture ecosystem, a Linux Foundation project. Circular bioeconomy towards resilience, urgent need for redefining raw materials and modified waste management policies and regulations. Agri-tech, new horizon for Indian agriculture, supporting of farmers for marketing will only help doubling of income by 2022. Rural transformation for farmers' income increase, case studies from impoverished districts. Mobile-enabled software as a service to solve complex supply chain challenges, a case study from Daily Orders. John Deray's journey in India, integrated precision agriculture and solutions. That today is the 45th edition of the National Webinar Series, which will be addressed by Padmashri Dr. M.H. Mehta, President, the Science Ashram, Baroda, and Chairman, Gujarat Life Sciences Private Limited, Baroda, on the very important topic, doubling the income of farmers through Eco-Agri Revolution. Dear participants, please note down the key words, doubling farmers' income and Eco-Agri Revolution. Agriculture sector is the foundation of Indian economy. It employs more than 50% of the India's workforce and contributes almost 17 to 18% of its GDP. At present, agricultural livelihoods are being severely impacted world over as a result of anthropogenic global warming and climate change. India's labor-intensive and subsistence-based agriculture sector is particularly vulnerable to this development. Climate change has both direct and indirect effects on agriculture productivity, including changing rainfall patterns, severe drought, and flooding, and changes in the geographical redistribution of pests and diseases. Indian farming community comprises of about 14.5 crores farmer operational holders, of which 85% operational holders are small and marginal size operational holders. Farmer needs timely, location-specific, and personalized information for effective control on their production, risk, and then market their produce to identified market opportunities. Our farmers have put in the best efforts to transplant the conventional and hydroponics, paddy nurseries in their fields. It is time we did guide our farmers and help them assess their crop health for better productivity and profits. These focus areas may include management of diseases, soil nutrition, usage of fertilizer, challenges of pesticide usage, and even way forward for seed protection. Many national level programs, such as Digital India 2015, Make in India 2015, Skill India 2015, Startup India 2015 and Stand Up India 2015 has faced operational difficulties for its impact at farm level and farmer level, and that too at the small and marginal farmers. On 15th August 2021, our Honorable Prime Minister, while delivering the Independence Day address, he said it, I quote, in the coming years, we will have to increase the collective power of the small farmers of the country. In the coming years, we will have to increase the collective power of the small farmers of the country. We have to give them new facilities. They must become the country's pride. He also gave a clarion call. Small farmers become the pride of the nation. In Hindi, Chota Kisan Bane Desh Ki Shan. Reforms towards digitalization of agricultural systems. I would like to quote from the report of the Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022, report to 2018. The Government of India, through its National Informatics Center, has prepared IT blueprint for the agriculture sector through its National Conference on Informatics for Sustainable Agriculture Development ISDA in May 1995, and Smart Village Scheme 2002-2007 and 2007-2012. And also Government of India launched the e-governance program in agriculture in 2005. Volume 4, Volume 3, Volume 4, Volume 11, and Volume 12B of the Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022 report, 2018, of the Government of India, submitted by the Dr. Ashok, its chairman, Dr. Ashok Talwai, and a senior IAS officer and secretary to Government of India, have suggested reforms measures for income rise through digitalization of farm sector. Volume 3 talked about post-production agri-logistic, maximizing gains for farmer. Volume 4 talked about post-production intervention, agricultural marketing. Volume 11 talked about empowering the farmers through extension and knowledge dissemination. Volume 12B, digital technology in agriculture. Agriculture logistic is the backbone of agribusiness, and agriculture marketing is the brain behind value realization. Farmers' produce must connect with multiple avenues to obtain value at each place, across time, across space, and in various forms. Volume 12B has suggested strategic use of digital technology in farming systems life cycle through 7 mission mode programs in its chapter 10, as given below. Digitalized agriculture, digital technology and innovation in agriculture, synergization of Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, and Startup India programs for transformational reforms in agriculture sector in 3 categories: smart irrigated farming, smart tribal rainfed farming, and smart tribal, rainfed farming and smart tribal farming. Digitalized agromet advisories and agriculture risk management solutions. Digitalized agromet advisories and agriculture risk management solutions, and digitalized agriculture resources information system and micro-level planning for achieving smart village and smart farming. Digitalized value chain for about 400 agriculture commodities. Digitalized access to inputs, technology, knowledge, skill, agricultural finance, credit, marketing, and agribusiness management to farmers. It is this one only make farmer assertive in the country. Will become an Atmanirbhar Bharat in agriculture. Digitalized integrated land and water management system, per drop more crop. Digitalized farm health management for reduction of farmers' loss here. It's a very important thing. Integration of farmers' health, plant health, animal health, soil health, water health, and fish health. And 85% of the disease which human being are getting are from animal. COVID-19 situation has proved that. Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022 in its volume 11, section 3.2.5 suggests that the need for development of a network of cooperative societies, CoopNet, and automation of each cooperative society, e-cooperatives, to facilitate governance and operational efficiency in the cooperative structure is good for rural India. It is reinstating that the digitalization of cooperative society is necessary, is important. And also we have about something like 96,000 to 1 lakh primary agriculture cooperative societies and about 22,000 primary fisher cooperative societies in the country. It needs to be digitalized. It needs to be as a farmer-centric cooperative societies function. The three Farm Acts 2020 are the game changer. With the 7 mission mode project and the digitalization of dairy cooperative societies and primary agriculture cooperative societies and primary fisher cooperative societies will facilitate one agri-tech startup in every gram panchayat to facilitate 14.5 crore operational holders in the country, to facilitate 400 agriculture commodity value chain and also livestock value chain and fisheries value chain. And the Centre's Committee on Doubling Farmers' Income has recommended boosting digital initiatives like anything. NABARD Financial Inclusion Report, survey report, says that pathetic tech adoption by Indian farmers. Only 5% of the farmers have tractors. 1.2% have drip irrigation, 0.08% sprinkler, etc. Only 8% farmers only have received any kind of farming skill development training. 92% have not done any training so far. Our farming practices are archaic. 75% of the farmers borrow money from non-institutional lenders. But if FAO report on India's productivity versus the best in the world, it is another important report to be looked into it. But we are 2x. It can go to 10x. If we bring in best practices, global agriculture practices, and digitalization, and in the small and marginal operational holdings in the country. And if we fix these problems, we will fix Indian agriculture. Atmanirbhar, Modi's 5 Eyes to make India self-reliant. This is the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, of making India a self-reliant nation rested on 5 Eyes: intent, inclusion, investment, infrastructure, and innovation. Based on 5 pillars: quantum economy, jump in economy; infrastructure, one that represents modern India; and systems, 21st century technology driven, vibrant demography, and demand, whereby the strength of our demand and supply chain should be utilized to full capacity. Agriculture sector has got about something like 400 supply chains for each commodity, and this has to be digitalized like anything. So for an example, dairy supply chain, 25 rupees per liter the farmer gets, and 42 rupees per liter the consumer gets it, and 17 rupees is being sent in supply chain. If we digitalize the dairy supply chain, and we can save 3 rupees, and if you take 1 rupee per every liter for infrastructure development, the country, we produce 40 crore liter every day. 16 crore liter is being consumed at the place of protection. 24 crores it comes for as a surplus milk. Only 10% gets into the cooperative society's value chain, and 10% gets into the private industry, and rest is under the cycle dudwala value chain, and it is a perishable commodity. So dairy value chain needs to have a strong infrastructure. If we digitalize the supply chain, that itself will can generate 3 rupees reduction in supply chain, and 1 rupee per liter can bring in important money for infrastructure development. We need not wait for government to invest the one agriculture commodity value chain. This is to give an example. And Atmanirbhar Bharat in agriculture, in the third tranche of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, the government has launched 1.5 lakh crore booster. I would like to quote one example: 1 lakh crore to agriculture cooperative societies, farmer produce organization, and startups for boosting farm gate infrastructure. This is where that the today's topic is very important, doubling the income of farmers through Eco-Agri Revolution. How this 1 lakh crore to the agriculture cooperative societies and farmer produce organization and startups for boosting farm gate infrastructure, and that for Eco-Agri Revolution. Agriculture Revolution, I would like to quote, there was a conference, Eco-Agriculture Revolution Seminar and Awards 2021, which is, held on 21st May 2021. It said, since the Green Revolution, India has witnessed an indiscriminate and prolonged use of chemicals, and its effect on human health, environment and groundwater pollution have extensively been debated over. These pertinent concerns have led to the concept of ecological agriculture, which is being recognized as the most critical and essential, method for the environment-friendly future. Eco-agriculture explicitly recognizes the ecological synergies and keeps agriculture sustainable. This form of agriculture conserves soil and water resources, protects climate, enhances agrodiversity, ensures biodiversity, and meets the demand for food and safeguards livelihoods. In short, it ensures that the environment thrives, the farm is productive, the farmer makes a net profit, and society has enough nutritious food. Developed and developing countries are shifting towards eco-agriculture with an objective to manage the available resources for sustainable farming and to preserve biodiversity. If you look at its history and philosophy, Margaret C. Merrill, in his book, which is published in 1983, and published online on 24th April 2012, it talks about eco-agriculture is an ecological rather than an industrial approach to food and fiber production. It emerged in 1930s, partly in response to observed natural phenomena and partly in reaction to the dominance of mechanism and specialization. Today, a sophisticated system of farming, so it offers farmers an alternative to increasing dependence on petrochemical inputs. Eco-agriculture minimizes adverse environmental effects and promotes soil conservation and construction. Soil is viewed as a complex and living entity and considered the prime capital asset of a nation. It is fundamentally a holistic system. Its basic premise is that all the facets of creation are intimately interrelated and that there is an intrinsic harmony to the natural order which is governed by certain laws. Man's role is that of faithful steward, and in the person of a farmer, nature's partner. Agriculture is seen as a creative rather than mechanistic because it is fundamentally a biological and living process rather than a technological and industrial one. Ecological farming is recognized as the high-end objective among the proponents of sustainable agriculture. Is a pioneering practical development which aims to create globally sustainable land management system. Food is taste and nourishment. Food is family and culture. Food is science, identity and religion. Food is connection. But do we know where our food comes from? How is it grown? By whom? The answer is a revolution in ecological farming. Let me repeat. Food is a taste and nourishment. Food is family and culture. Food is science, identity and religion. Food is a connection. But do we know where our food comes from, how it is grown, and by whom? The answer is a revolution in ecological farming. 7 basic principles of eco farming. I would like to quote from one of the publication from www.greenpeace.org. The 7 basic principle of eco farming: food sovereignty, rewarding rural livelihood, smarter food production and yields, biodiversity, sustainable soil, ecological pest protection, and food resilience. And there are different varieties, methods of agriculture, farming, regenerative agriculture, and organic farming, permaculture. And permaculture is a design science. And also, it says that the main difference between a permaculture and a farm is an energy cycle. A farm, organic farming is an energy cycle. A farm is an energy source, whereas a permaculture sites creates an energy loop. Agroecological farming is a key to the sustainable future, and it is very important. Government of India provides assistance for promoting organic farming across the country through different schemes. The Paragat Krishi Vikas Yojana, Mission Organic Value Chain Development for Northeastern Region, National Mission on Oil Seeds and Oil Palm, National Food Security Mission, Capital Investment Subsidy Scheme under Soil Health Management scheme. State agencies, primary agriculture credit societies, farmer producer organization, entrepreneurs among the others can avail these loans for setting up of post-harvest infrastructure for value addition to organic produce under 1 lakh crore agriculture infrastructure fund of the Atmanirbhar Bharat. In India, natural farming is promoted as Bharatiya Prakritik Krishi Padati programs under centrally sponsored scheme as Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana is aimed at promoting traditional indigenous practices which reduces externally purchased input. It is Niti Aayog initiative. Natural farming is a chemical-free alliance traditional farming method. Another method also has been promoted, that is zero budget natural farming. Our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, called for Evergreen Revolution, which was quoted in the Hindu newspaper on dated 19th May 2017. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi said, on the pattern of industrial clusters, agriculture clusters should be created, wherein different areas would be identified with the particular crops. Let us propose one agriculture cluster based on eco-farming, leading to Evergreen Revolution. The recent awareness of the limits of natural resources and the pollution of soil, air, and water is pushing for sustainable farming. Ecological farming systems, the shift from chemical to ecological agriculture should, however, be gradual. Since it is a knowledge-intensive practice, one has to keep pace with the dynamics of nature to increase the biological productivity of the soil. Digital technology in agriculture will facilitate shifting faster from chemical to ecological agriculture. Doubling farmers' income by 2022 is the national mission. It was announced by the Honorable Prime Minister in February 2016. 15th August 2021 is the is the 75th India's Independence Day anniversary. Azad Ki Amrut Maha Utsav means elixir of the energy of freedom. The PM said, it means that the nectar of inspiration from freedom fighters, the nectar of new ideas, and the nectar of new revolution. Let us now turn to the address by Padmashri, Dr. M.H. Mehta, President, the Science Ashram, Baroda, and Chairman, Gujarat Life Sciences Private Limited, Baroda, and the very important topic, doubling the income of farmers through Eco-Agri Revolution. Padmashri Dr. Mehta is a strong proponent of 2020 model. It means greater than 20% more production with less than 20% lower input cost. Eco-friendly, practical, middle path from conventional to eco-organic and digital platform for scale up to bring Eco-Agri Revolution for Evergreen Revolutions. Today's topic will motivate and galvanize the participants watching over telecast through facebook.com/Shobhit University India, youtube.com Shobhit University in, or LinkedIn/company/Shobhit-University for establishing agri-tech startups, more than 6,500 startups, one per block, or even 2.25 lakh agri-tech startups, one per each Gram Panchayat, to promote eco-agriculture to usher in evergreen revolution in the country. In this talk, Padmashri Dr. M.H. Mehta will showcase eco-agriculture, agri-revolution, practical lessons, and the way ahead for benefiting small-scale farmers who represent 85% of the operational holders in India. Let me invite our guest speaker to the participants. And before that, let me introduce our guest speaker to the audience. Mr. Manish, can you put the profile? Padmashri Dr. Mehta is the chairman of National Working Group of Eco-Agriculture, Indian Chamber of Food and Agriculture, New Delhi, is currently president, the Science Ashram, and chairman, Gujarat Life Sciences. He has been the chairman of National Committee on Agri Technology. Also, as a honorable chairman, Community Science Center, now he leads, as the honorable chairman, Community Science Center, and also leads Vaho Vishwamutri Abhiyan. He holds BTech and PhD in Chemical Engineering from IIT Bombay, was a visiting scientist at University of Arizona and University of California, USA. He earlier worked at Baba Atomic Research Center, Trombay, and then at Gujarat State Fertilizer Corporation as its executive director. And he is the founder of, GSFC Science Foundation and Gujarat Green Revolution Company Limited. And he was also attached as a non-executive board member of leading companies like United Phosphorus Limited and GDA, etc. for many years. He was the Vice Chancellor, Gujarat Agriculture University, and brought a major turnaround, modernization, livelihood programs, and eco-agriculture for this agriculture university, which is one of the largest university in Asia at that time. He was the founder president of Indian Association for IT in Agriculture. He holds 17 patents and authored more than 150 papers and 4 books. His book, Science, Spirituality, and the World Tomorrow, was released by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the former president of India. His recent book on Eco-Agri Revolution, Practical Lessons and the Way Ahead, was released by the president of World Food Prize and was acclaimed internationally. Dr. Mehta was awarded Padmashri by the President of India in 2011. In 2012, he was awarded Lifetime Achievement Award Agriculture Today and was honored by Beijing University, China, Cornell University, USA, Royal Institute, Stockholm, and Indian Science Congress for his contribution to eco-agriculture. Was a missionary's zeal. Dr. Mehta is leading the eco-agriculture revolution for evergreen revolution, so important for the future. In 2017, he was conferred Millennium Leader of Asia Award in Bhutan. A keen sportsman, and his other interests are poetry and playing instrumental music, Kasta Tarang. The Science Ashram is an NGO started by young scientists of Indian origin and based on requests and interaction with farmers was forced to start at the company Gujarat Life Sciences Private Limited to develop and supply new generation eco-friendly agri-bio inputs. So with this, I invite Padmashri, Dr. Mehta ji, to address the national webinar series on doubling farmers' income by 2022, Atmanirbhar Bharat in agriculture, on the very important topic, doubling the income of farmers through Eco-Agri Revolution. Thank you very much. Over to Padmashri Dr. M.H. Mehta for his important talk and address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Moni, and my very, very special congratulations to Shobhit University and the entire team for this wonderful and one of the most unique kind of web series that I have ever seen in the world. These are the days of the webinars, and keep getting engaged the world over. But I think this kind of webinar series is the most unique and will go a very long way in inspiring young people, in helping the farmers, in helping the policymakers, and for a much better future in the time to come. So my very, very special congratulations, and the way the whole thing is being organized, uh, I see a very long-term effect of this kind of activity. Many a times, we have entered after the agriculture age, the world entered the era of industrial age, and now we have entered the knowledge, and the world is going to be uh, moving in a direction where knowledge will become the key and central point. And among all this, I think this kind of initiative uh, will have a tremendous effect. वैसे मेरा एक बड़ा हॉबी है कि फार्मर के साथ डायलॉग करना पूरी दुनिया में, और मैंने ये भी देखा है कि पढ़ा हुआ या अनपढ़ किसान हो, एजुकेटेड हो अनएजुकेटेड हो, बट उसके मतलब की बात वो समझ जाता है, तो लैंग्वेज बैरियर नहीं होता है. So I'm going to be talking in English, but I know that the entire broad range of audience that Dr. Moni has will get the message, and that message is, which has become the mission of my life and many like me, is the Eco-Agri Revolution for evergreen revolution. Look at the scenario 50 years back. I think when we go out, I often talk to people. Been the biggest achievement, or what are two biggest achievements of a country like India, independent in the late 40s, and there are many who have said that this will become a horrible country full of hunger, problems, poverty, and so on. And now, when we look back, I look at these major achievements of which we all can be very proud of. And number one has been that we have maintained a sound, strong democracy. And number two, and probably even more important, is that we became a food self-sufficient country. The Green Revolution, और कमाल जो किया हमारे फार्मर्स ने, साइंटिस्ट ने, पॉलिसी मेकर्स ने, everybody together, and from a begging, hungry country, we became a food surplus country. So this has been the strong point of the last 50 years as we look back. But then, what are the next 50 years like? The challenges are even much bigger. We know that agriculture is the backbone of the entire thing. Like often people like Jawaharlal Nehru have said that if agriculture goes wrong, nothing goes right. And on the other hand, agriculture has many opportunities. So we have entered now the era, like Professor Moni just now mentioned, that Green Revolution did a lot of good things, but we are, nothing is stationary. No technology is stationary. No situation is stationary, and it has to move with the time. It was a time when the development and discovery of ammonia process by Haber-Bosch was considered as the savior of the world. They were the biggest development, for which, of course, they got the Nobel Prize, even Haber and Bosch. But then things don't become stationary. Nothing is permanent, and especially in technology, a lot of new things happen. So we know that, especially the green revolution areas, take Punjab or Haryana or Western UP, for example, in the last few years, the productivity has been going down, the soil and water pollutions have been increasing. The challenges world over are going to be climate change, the scarcity of water or mismanagement of water, the pollution, the degrading soils, the loss of soil organic carbon, the uh, lowering of the water use efficiency, and also the much lowering of efficiency. I was talking to some farmers in Punjab and Haryana. I said, जो 10 किलो यूरिया से काम होता था, अभी 100 किलो यूरिया से काम नहीं होता है. So this is also the thing which we have to watch out, and the time ahead are going to be much more challenging. But then a strong, intelligent, and wise country works enthusiastically toward the opportunities, not only just crying over the problem. And this is where the new revolution of Eco-Agri Revolution is going to come. What are the indicators? Our knowledge for the agri-bio input, both the microbials, the botanicals, has substantially increased. The bad news that the ecology, if negative, will affect agriculture has really gone down with everybody. And the good news is that in the last few years, there are several developments which are farmer friendly, which are ecologically balanced, and which are much better in the time to come. A few years back, there was a global expert committee which was invited by the PMO. And from India, I was one of the members. We are a 4-member committee. The rest were from United States and other things. And our major mission was to advise regarding about the importance and how to go about. As soon as we sat with the Prime Minister, the Honorable Prime Minister said, you don't have to waste your time in teaching us that the eco-agriculture is good or organic farming is good. We all know about it. Tell us how. And I think this how is going to be the most important thing. You go around the world in seminars and meetings and conferences, and people say how important this is. We must do something about it. What is more important is how to. And I think in today's talk, my concentration and my focus is going to be on how to. So let's run through some of the slides which would give you the, especially I have in mind the young generation entrepreneurs, the young generation farmers, and the future leaders who look at this not as a problem but the opportunity, and how we can convert that opportunity to uplift the entire the country's people, but giving a model to the whole world, because India, like Dr. Moni said, with more than 25% of the population of the farmers of the world are Indian. And most of them, more than 80%, are small farmers. And we have now to go to a model which really benefits them maximum. So let's go through some of those presentation slides and yeah. Uh, can you have the presentation, please?
Manish.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Is this clear to everybody? Yeah. I hope this is okay. So this is what we are going to be talking: doubling the income of farmers through Eco-Agri Revolution. Next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide, please. Yeah. No. Okay. I'm back with the entire team, including with our friend Ashok Dalwai and all. When we were discussing, these are also the recommendations which I sent. Uh, Number one, there is now time for Eco-Agri Revolution, for Evergreen Revolution. The father of Green Revolution, Dr. Swaminathan, with whom I often discuss, is more like my guru. He put his hand on my head and said, the time is now to move from Green Revolution to Evergreen Revolution through Eco-Agri Revolution. So at this age now, I take this as my major mission of life. The Sustainable Development Goals endorsed by the United Nations profoundly emphasize moving away from the current heavy input agriculture system, especially the chemicals, to more eco-friendly and balanced farming. And so eco-agriculture or agroecology, which also includes several terms like Professor Moni very nicely explained. It includes the broadly organic farming, regenerative farming, and so on a broader thing. But the entire concept is that agriculture system which works in harmony with the ecology. It works in a very complementary. And now we know since the Green Revolution, land has witnessed an indiscriminate and prolonged use of chemicals and human health, environment, groundwater pollution. So what is the way out as we move forward? Next slide will tell you. Next slide. Yeah. The good news are in the last few years, few decades for that matter, our knowledge, our understanding and development of biofertilizers, biopesticides and biocompost, which would play a major role in eco-agri, has substantially increased. The agri-bio industries all over the world have started showing tremendous potential and growth. In fact, much higher than the chemical industries. Like one survey has, when the chemical fertilizers and chemical pesticide industry, which is of course very large, has grown to more or less than 2.5% worldwide. These industries, the new generation biofertilizer, biopesticide, bioinput industry, have been growing at the rate of more than 17%, 17. And these are really good news. And continuously better understanding, better products, the high performance products are coming. And improvement in sustainability for farmers, carbon, water use efficiency, and ecological improvement. A very important component, if time permits, we will talk about it, is converting the crop residue and agro waste in a very systematic manner. One way is like crop residue, which we have a big problem of burning, and I always feel very concerned and unhappy about the sight of Delhi and other towns, especially during November and December. But so there is a solution. The crop residue to biocompost in situ treatment with multimicrobial inputs has been demonstrated, has been shown that it eliminates air pollution, it improves the soil organic carbon, decreases soil degradation, and very important wastage of resources. You know, after all, in the crop residue, more than 40 to 50% of the nutrients and micronutrients are locked in. So when you burn it, you are really doing a very, very bad economics. So when we started working out over the period of time, I realized there are two things. I think there is often two big groups divided, and I've seen this happening all over the world. There are people who say the chemical-based farming no alternative. It has helped the world so much. It brought the Green Revolution. Half the world would have gone hungry if we didn't have the chemical fertilizers and chemical pesticides. There is another extreme which says don't put anything. Go with the traditional method of 100 years back. And often there are very non-scientific claims that just something like cow urine will solve all the problem. Now, I think, like Buddha, there is a middle path. And we started thinking that between these two extremes, there has to be a model which would, over the period of time, bring Eco-Agri Revolution. And I particularly believe that nothing of the lab and paperwork is good enough. So we took this whole thing at the farm level, different crops, different agroclimatic conditions, not only in India, but even in African countries and Asian countries, and got convinced that a 2020 model is the right way to go for Eco-Agri Revolution. And I'm very glad, and we will see it as we proceed, that this is the model which is now increasingly being accepted. Let's go to the next slide. So, what we will be discussing will be beyond Green Revolution, regeneration of soil, agro-waste utilization and biocompost, new generation agri-bio inputs, even the global agri-bio industries, and of course, particularly bigger opportunities for the Indian condition. The middle path model, which is the 2020 model, and of course, the new tool that we have in hand, and people like Dr. Moni, who are the leaders in this, they really will tell you in more detail how the digital platform will help in the entire process of reaching all the unreached and taking the revolution to the smallest farmer. So now is the time to lead the Eco-Agri Revolution. Next slide, please. Next slide. Let us first be very sure. I don't like pessimism. We know we have problems. But I'm convinced in all these years that a hunger-free and nutrition-secured world is possible. Whatever problem we may have, but I do see a silver line, and this is possible. And in this, into the reality, we have the technologies, we have the new generation product, we have the human ingenuity. You know, some years back when a book came out, The Limits of Growth, and the famous Nobel laureate economist John Timberton, he wrote that two things are permanent. One is the number of generations that we care for. You know, we always, we are human, we are the combination of spiritual and intelligent being. And the number of generations we care for is a permanent thing. And number two, he said, another thing which is permanent is the tremendous potential of human to invent, to develop new things and overcome the problems. And I think we must remember that. And so it is possible that you need eco-friendly products and technology that can improve farm productivity in a sustainable manner. Not just when you say, the other day I was talking to some higher ups in the government, and I said, if when you say doubling the farmer's income, it is not just 2020. It has to be a continuous that you need to do it in a sustainable manner. So reduce the input cost, which is a possibility, increase the farmer's health automatically. This is also possible. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. So this is the big hope of eco-friendly agri-bio product range. You have the whole range of biofertilizers, from nitrogen to phosphate solubilizing, potassium, and so on. You have the whole range of new generation pest control, which are microbials, also the botanicals or plant extracts or combinations. And the very big, very important emerging trend of growth regulators, or what you may call as biostimulants. This is also in the last few years has emerged as a very, very potential low input, high return industries in the time to come. Next slide. Next slide. Let's understand our understanding of the biology, and like Professor Moni also mentioned, that the agriculture is not a chemical subject, it's a biological subject. And our understanding, the microbial technology, the biodiversity, the interrelationship between the various microorganisms and so on, in the last few years has substantially increased. And I remember several decades back when I was the executive director of India's largest fertilizer petrochemical complex. And I put a proposal, or we wanted to build a first biofertilizer pilot plant. And naturally the board had objection. This doesn't look like a very good commercial proposal and so on. And of course I overruled that and convinced them that this is the future. And that time the understanding was only the rhizobium or azotobacter and so on. But in the last few years, the development of the consortia of microbes and how to bring them together so that advantageously they help you in nutrient availability, in increasing the yield, in even controlling the diseases and so on, has been substantial. And these are the many products which have started coming on the horizon in a big way. And even a very conservative farmer also has now started adopting them. Now this is really a good news. And this is happening world over. it's going to be much faster in the time to come. Mark my word. This is going to be the big opportunity for future. So products for agriculture, products for waste management, converting the agro waste, converting the animal farm waste, and even various effluent leaching to high value biocompost in situ. Next slide. When you work together, this is the right approach, not only of convincing yourself, but of convincing farmers. And I have always said that the future belongs to a combination or the coming together. This is a typical example where an agri university, that is Navsari Agriculture University in South Gujarat, a company like Gujarat Life Sciences, an NGO like the Science Ashram, they came together. And farmers don't get convinced unless they see the things on the field. They are not interested in your papers, and they see it. And so this was one systematic work which was taken up in a collaborative manner. And collaboration is going to be the future. So the biocompost, the products like Wonderlife G, Superlife, Tricolife. Now the fungal disease, our understanding is now much, much more than it was ever. Small fungus in banana, it remains dormant during the initial stage, and then it goes on growing and growing. Now, one may not easily realize it, but the capacity of that banana fruits come down to as much as 40 or 50% by this single small fungus. And compared to chemical, a biological, which is called trichoderma, has now started doing wonders. And at very low cost, very, very low cost compared to the chemicals, it has given much higher performance. And not only, banana is just one example, for sugar cane, for groundnut, for pulses, and so on. The same is the situation with the nematicides, thrift control, mite no mite, like in South when we were working with the floriculture industries. Apart from being a hazard, was solving the problem. A simple microbial and botanical mixture did the job. So the proof is on the field and demonstrations. Next. Next slide, please. Okay, all this was kind of compiled, among other things, in this book. And in fact, it was Professor Swaminathan who almost commanded that I should write a book. And so I wrote this book on Eco-Agri Revolution, and the emphasis was on practical lessons and the way ahead. And this is where, among other things, the 2020 model, the middle path of transformation to evergreen revolution through Eco-Agri Revolution has been discussed. I think the book has been very well received, not only in India, but also several overseas countries, as I can see from the feedback coming and all that. Next one. Next one. So as I said, the 2020 model, as I said, let me also warn, in many situations in the last several years I have found, sometimes people, when they got, from tomorrow I will not use chemicals, it will be only organic. Half the time, even by some religious dictator even. And when the sudden transformation took place, suddenly, in many cases, not all cases, but in many cases, the productivity went down, the disease could not be controlled, and the farmer became a laughing stock. Now, this did more harm to the movement of organic than good. So I'm convinced that this thing cannot happen overnight. It has to be over the period of time. So when we say 2020 model, here is when we did it along with it for banana, and you see the different agroclimatic conditions, different soil conditions. It was in Navsari, in Tamil Nadu, Trichy for banana, and rice in Bangkok, Thailand, and also Vapi, Gujarat. Maize was in South Africa. Castor was in Kutch, the north of Gujarat, and papaya on the northwest. But everywhere, the 2020 model went beautifully, and you find that there is more than 20% increase and more than 20% reduction in the use of chemicals like urea or diammonium phosphate or so on in the very first year. And then we became confident that you next year it can become 40%, it can then redouble it and make it 50%. So this is the way, and that's why the 2020 model, and we will talk about it, how to take it up on a bigger scale a little later. But like Professor Moni mentioned, it's very important that what you do in the lab, what you do in even the experimental farm, reaching the farmers is a much bigger challenge. I was told that if you talk about green revolution, the real technology transfer rate was less than 6%. And with that also we brought the green revolution. Even in advanced countries like United States or Canada, they say of all the technologies available, the technologies reaching the farm is a very small percentage. So this has been the challenge, how to scale up, how to reach people. But then what we didn't have earlier, we have it now. We have the digital technology, we have the means of reaching a huge number of people in a very simple and so therefore the Vice Chancellor of Gujarat Agriculture University, one of the beating boy was always the extension department. You know, every agriculture university has a research directorate, an education director, and extension director. And the job of the extension director is to take the technology to the farmer's field. And no matter whatever they did, they were always criticized. Hey, you are not doing enough. And many times for the right reason. So we said, what? Okay, you do the farmers big sabha, you do demonstration. How many people you can reach? Sometimes we used to have a big farmer rally where there may be 50,000 farmers, but that's still peanut compared to the sun. And so I discussed with my old friend, Dr. Kasturi Rangan, who was the ISRO chief, and we thought about an idea about a satellite-based Krushi Goshti. Next slide. Next slide. So we set up a studio. This was somewhere in 2002. We set up a studio in Gandhinagar, where the experts would come, and then we connected. You know, it was two-way audio, so it would connect various campuses, small and big villages. And there is one funny incident I thought I will share with you. When we opened it, and with the governor of Gujarat sitting next to me, he said, "Now I inaugurate this, and this is open." We said, "If anybody has any questions, they are welcome." And this was the lady in a remote village near Junagadh who asked me the first question. And Dr. Moni, this is the hardest question I have ever answered in my life. She asked me a very simple question. साहब आपने ये सैटेलाइट और स्पेस ये सब किया है, बहुत अच्छी बात है, अच्छा लगता है। मेरे पास 2 बफेलो हैं और मुझे इससे क्या फायदा होगा? What is the advantage I'll get through this high-tech satellite Krushi Goshti? And as I said, this was the hardest question I have answered. But then I explained to her that all the experts will be available. You can ask what kind of fodder should be there, in what season, what diseases will be there, and all that. And when I explained that in detail, she said, this is then very good. So this was one big step on reaching the unreached. And of course, after that, there is new and very interesting developments in the area of digital technology. Next slide. While doing this, we also worked out that the Narmada waters were coming, and there was a very need of a very judicious water management planning. And I could not have gone to all the experimental farms and stations where these demonstrations were arranged. So we developed this sitting in a model farm in Baroda, and with connecting with all different areas near the Narmada Canal. And this we took up along with Indo-Dutch program. And it was very interesting because people like Dr. Swaminathan also joined. We could share the advice, no need of the field visit, and still we took the stock of the situation. So this was another great power of digital technology in reaching the farmer. Next slide. Next slide. As I mentioned, the real challenge is what you prove in the model is how to have this reaching maximum people. There is an organization, as you know, it's a global NGO called Solidaridad. And Solidaridad has been doing tremendous work all over the world, including in the Asian countries, for different crops, different value chains. That includes everything from sugarcane, tea, soybean, mustard, castor, palm oil project, Indonesia and Malaysia. Also similar big projects, several $1 million worth of projects in South America, Africa, and so on. And one of these was taken up as a 2020 model when the Solidaridad young team started discussing with me. And this is what they prepared. So one such tool improve the crop productivity is what now they call it Soli 2020 model, which is the adopting this concept, 20% more production and 20% lower input cost. And this naturally the farmers like it. if you all the chemicals, I don't think this is going to work. But when you give this kind of a model, a proven model, there is no loss of productivity. At the same time, it becomes a sustainable model. Next slide. Next. So this was the objective of SOLI 2020 model, to provide practical knowledge and information to large number of farmers, because what is already proven, especially this was done much more in the MP and Rajasthan farmers, with hundreds of farmers. And based on that, this model was developed, that the cost of production was reduced and the productivity increased. And now to leverage on Android-based smart mobile technology to scale up the dissemination. This is going to be launched very soon in a big way. And of course, the purpose and objective will be to reduce the environmental and human being impact being incurred by use of agrochemicals or overuse, and to make farmers future ready with knowledge and skill on the climate resilient production technology. Next slide. So these are the basic features. Most widely used Android. It will be in both in English and Hindi. Language में भी हो सकता है. Designed for simplicity. Explain the farmers the use of text media. It provides comprehensive performance measure. The application is backed by dashboard and practical, based and dynamic content. After all the data which are generated on the field, and big data is going to be a big thing in the time to come. And practical, those data are now being available for this innovative things. And what is applicable for soybean and mustard to start with is also equally applicable for other crops like sugarcane, tea, and so on. Next. Next slide. Yeah. Okay, this is how it would be, the application layout, introductory screen, the language selection, login page, and so on. Fields. Next one. Yeah. Next one. Yeah. At the sometime is there. Yeah. Okay. This also have been next slide. Yes. Okay. So this was soybean agronomy and the agronomy methods. All the details are available later on for cotton, sugarcane. So, okay, while on this subject, and since we have a little bit, I believe Dr. Moni, I have another 5 minutes. I can. Okay, all right. I'll just say that one very important part of Eco-Agri
You have,
Revolution.
Dr. Mehtaji, you have time. Please explain so that it's a new model, so that it gets recorded, so that when young entrepreneurs, young farmers, and research scholars, when they look into it, it will be very nice there. So please explain at least one model, so that let it be recorded appropriately. Yeah.
Okay. So this has been like when you say the step one, say taking soybean as an example, and say this is the model which would help farmer in selecting the right kind of biofertilizers, biogrowth promoters, biopesticide, and put together with the agronomical details, mechanical methods, and so on, and also explain based on the field experiment, how the agronomy methods will have to be followed, and the right kind of package which is available. And this, of course, becomes a continuous kind of updated of the model in the as the and all that. So this is the way the whole thing is. Now, here, what is not mentioned here is something which I would like to touch upon as the time permits. The next slide. Okay. So, when we say the way ahead will be improving productivity in eco-friendly way or sustainable way, help switch over from conventional in a farmer-friendly way, farmer acceptable way. And I, for one, and many like me now, are getting more and more convinced. In fact, I spent some good time in some of the African countries who have started. And sometimes we are joking. An American friend of mine was telling that if this will often such models get accepted overseas and then they get accepted in your own country. But I still ultimately, if it is for the good of people, should be that you get 20% more production, 20% lower input. Eco-friendly, practical, middle path for conventional to eco or organic farming. And then, as we said, digital platform for scale up to bring eco-agri. Now, here, one thing which I just wanted to mention, one of the most important part of this eco-agri revolution will be the scientific way of converting waste to biocompost. It's a great wealth, and I think we need a huge and very scientific based national program. Often I have called that as clean village, eco village concept. Or now there are two major events in that. One is I mentioned about the crop residue after machining, and we had several dialogues, several demonstrations in different countries, and uh, how we can convert, for example, this rice stubble is a problem, and what you need is a in situ situation. So there was a special microbial mixture, we call it real life, which was developed after machining. When it is sprayed, the decomposition starts. All the nutrients and micronutrients are made available for the next thing, and the
No,
soil organic carbon keeps on
I'm in a
improving.
meeting, in a webinar. I'll call you later.
So this is one possibility. Another one is a case study which I would give you for a Pandrapur. You know that we have the Goshalas or Pandrapur as they call it. The Pandrapur is the concept where the sick animals are kept, more out of the charity work and all that. And cows or buffalo don't give milk, but they do give you gobar. And gobar is a great potential for starting an entrepreneurship or industry. And I will just show you a small actual model which we did in Kutch soon after the disaster. So if just wait for a minute, I'll just show you that. Uh,
Sir, connection is lost out. Maybe he is joining again within few minutes.
Video. Hello.
Yes, sir.
He's connecting a video.
Okay, sir.
Hello?
Joseph was just trying to put that small video clip.
Yeah,
But if it doesn't come in a minute,
you can get connected. You can get connected. That's no problem.
I'll just use it.
Okay. Hello, sir. கொஞ்சம் கழிச்சு பேசுறேனே, இந்த மீட்டிங் போயிட்டு இருக்கேன். Hello. Okay. You can come out.
Hello.
You can come out of the presentation slide. Let him connect. You can talk.
Okay.
गिरी लगाओ और चला। इसको चलाने में तो सिर्फ 500 रुपया खर्चा आता है।
पवन बोलो पानी पिता माता धरत माँ दिवस रात दोए ताई दाया खेले सगल जगत
ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਪਵਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਪਾਣੀ ਪਿਤਾ ਮਾਤਾ ਧਰਤ ਮਹਤ ਪ੍ਰਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਵਨ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਦੂਸ਼ਿਤ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਪਾਣੀ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਦੂਸ਼ਿਤ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਅਤੇ ਧਰਤੀ ਰੂਪੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮਿੱਟੀ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੂਸ਼ਿਤ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਪਰਾਲੀ ਦਾ ਇਨਵਾਇਰਮੈਂਟ ਤੇ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, ਸਾਡੇ ਜੀਵਨ ਤੇ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਕਈ ਬਿਮਾਰੀਆਂ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਉਪਜ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਪਰਾਲੀ ਦੀ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਦੋਸ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇ ਸਕਦੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਕਿ ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹਦਾ ਹੱਲ ਦੇਣਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ।
ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਸ਼ੁੱਧ ਵਾਤਾਵਰਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ
ਇਹਦਾ ਹੱਲ ਕੀ ਹੈ? ਗੁਜਰਾਤ ਲਾਈਫ ਸਾਇੰਸਿਸ ਗੁਜਰਾਤ ਦੀ ਇੱਕ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਦਮ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਡਾਕਟਰ MS ਮਹਿਤਾ ਦੀ ਗਾਈਡੈਂਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਐਸਾ ਜੀਵਾਣੂ ਦਾ ਘੋਲ ਤਿਆਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਪਰਾਲੀ ਦੇ ਗਾਲਣ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸ ਹੈ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਤੇਜ਼ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ। ਪਰਾਲੀ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸ ਤੇਜ਼ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਜੀਵਾਣੂ ਮਿੱਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਪਰਾਲੀ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਡਿਗਰੇਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਉਹਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੋ ਸਕੇਗੀ, ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਸ਼ਨ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਇੰਪਰੂਵ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ। ਮਿੱਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਈ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰ ਦੇ ਜੀਵਾਣੂ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਕਈ ਸਾਲਾਂ ਦੀ ਰਿਸਰਚ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੋਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪਰਾਲੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਕੰਪੋਨੈਂਟਸ ਬੜੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਸੈਲੂਲੋਜ਼, ਹੈਮੀ ਸੈਲੂਲੋਜ਼ ਤੇ ਲਿਗਨਿਨ। ਇਹ ਤਿੰਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਰਿਸਰਚ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਤਿੰਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਡੀਗ੍ਰੇਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਮਾਈਕਰੋਬਸ ਨਾਲ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਮਾਈਕਰੋਬਸ ਦਾ ਸਮੂਹ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਮਾਈਕਰੋਬਸ ਦਾ ਮਿਕਸਚਰ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਮਾਈਕਰੋਬਸ ਦਾ ਮਿਕਸਚਰ ਤਿਆਰ ਕਰਕੇ ਪਰਾਲੀ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਡੀਗ੍ਰੇਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸ ਹੈ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੇਜ਼ ਕਰ ਮਾਈਕਰੋ ਆਰਗੈਨਿਜ਼ਮ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਨ ਸੀਟੂ ਕੰਪੋਸਟ ਤਿਆਰ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਕੰਪੋਸਟ ਤਿਆਰ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਹੈ 4 ਲੀਟਰ ਰੀਅਲ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 200 ਲੀਟਰ ਪਾਣੀ ਮਿਕਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਾਣੀ ਸਪਰੇ ਕਰਨੀ।
तो
ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਮਾਈਕਰੋਬਸ ਦੇ ਨੰਬਰ ਇੰਨਾ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਵਧਾ ਦਈਏ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਡੀਗ੍ਰੇਡ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪਰਾਲੀ ਹੈ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਫਰਟੀਲਾਈਜ਼ਰ ਦੇ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਵਰਤ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਖਾਦ ਦੇ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਵਰਤ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਓਪਰਚੁਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਨਵਰਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਜੀਵਾਣੂਆਂ ਦਾ ਨੰਬਰ ਵਧਣ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮਿੱਟੀ ਦੀ ਫਰਟੀਲਿਟੀ, ਮਿੱਟੀ ਦਾ ਮੋਇਸਚਰ ਕੰਟੈਂਟ, ਮਿੱਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਾਈਕਰੋ ਦੇਗੀ ਤੇ ਮਿੱਟੀ ਤਾਕਤਵਰ ਹੋਏਗੀ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਪੋਲਿਊਸ਼ਨ ਤੇ ਘੱਟ ਹੋਏਗਾ। ਇਕੋਲੋਜੀਕਲ ਬੈਲੈਂਸ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਮਿੱਟੀ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਡਿਪੈਂਡ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਸਾਡਾ ਜੀਵਨ ਮਿੱਟੀ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਡਿਪੈਂਡ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਨਵਾਇਰਮੈਂਟ ਮਿੱਟੀ ਦੇ ਤੇ ਡਿਪੈਂਡ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੀਆਂ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਜਨਰੇਸ਼ਨ। ਸੋ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਮਿੱਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਸਟਰੋਂਗ ਕਰਨਾ, ਕਿਸਾਨੀ ਨੂੰ ਸਟਰੋਂਗ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ, ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਟਰੋਂਗ ਕਰਨਾ।
Okay. Thank you. The clip has.
You can adjust. You can adjust right to the right. To the
Yeah,
right.
it was done by the Punjab farmers, and what I wanted to convey was that how a problem can be converted into an opportunity. And this is just one example of the converting a big problem into a very big opportunity. And that becomes the strong base for bringing eco-agriculture revolution in one of the thickest green revolution area. Anyway, friends, I really enjoyed talking to you, and I just want to end with two thoughts. One is that in the years to come, eco-agriculture revolution will definitely come for evergreen revolution. But number two is that we know the problems, but then we know that every problem can be an opportunity, especially for the young, enterprising farmers and the young generation. For any country, there are always two ways of looking at it. One is you give so much importance to the problem and you put your hands up and say nothing can be done, things are going to be horrible. But there is another approach is that yes, we can do it. Technologies are there, is there, human entrepreneurship is there, and we can convert the coming challenge into a huge opportunity for the good of everybody. Thank you so much. I enjoyed talking to you all.
Thank you very much, Padmashri, Dr. Mehta ji, for your wonderful address. Now, I welcome our Honorable Chancellor, who has been watching your address, and now he has now come on front line, and I welcome him.
Good to see you. Yeah.
And I would like to, introduce our Honorable Chancellor to the audience. Before that, let me summarize to the audience as well as also to the Honorable Chancellor that the talk of Padmashri Dr. Emeritus Mehta was revolved around that improve your productivity through eco-friendly way, help switch over from conventional to eco-friendly farming, and it on 2020 model which he has prescribed and also is being operationalized, and there are results from the ground from different parts of the world, and after operationalization of 2020 model, that is more than 20% production and less than 20% input use. And he also said it that digital platform will facilitate in switch over from the chemical agriculture to the eco-friendly agriculture, that is ecological farming, from Eco-Agri Revolution to Evergreen Revolution. Let me introduce our Honorable Chancellor to the audience. Shri Kunwar Shekhar Vijendra is the co-founder and the Chancellor of Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology, Meerut, NAC accredited deemed University, and Shobhit University, Gango, Uttar Pradesh. He is a prominent social entrepreneur based in New Delhi, carries leadership roles in many organizations. He has been nominated as the co-chairman of National Council on Education of ASSOCHAM, the oldest apex chamber of commerce in India, for the year 2020-21 and 21-22. Sri Kunwar Shekhar Vijendra is a persistent advocate of initiatives for education for all, circular values, crisis management through diplomatic and peaceful ways, and globalized system of learning and harmonious coexistence. He has been instrumental in the development of a number of higher educational institutions in North India, including 2 universities, many research centers, an Ayurvedic medical college, College of Naturopathy and Yogic Sciences, and a 100-bed Ayush hospital. He is instrumental in establishing 4 centers of excellence: Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Applications, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application in the university to promote informatics and technology development in rural India. He is also planning to establish a Center for Health Informatics and Computing in the university. He is very actively involved with a number of social organizations. Acknowledging his contribution in the areas of education and other concern, he has been copiously honored and awarded. He traveled widely in India and abroad to the countries like USA, UK, Germany, Australia, Russia, China, South Korea, Vietnam, Mongolia, United Arab Emirates, Mauritius, Rwanda, Uganda, and Croatia, etc., to participate in various professional and social educational activities. Shri Kunwar Shekhar Vijendra is a passionate Gandhian, avid reader, keen learner, social speaker, occasional poet, and a dreamer. So we welcome Honorable Chancellor Shri Kunwar Shekhar Vijendra to give a valedictory address in this national webinar series at Doubling Farm Income by 2022. Today's topic is a very important topic that is on doubling the income of farmers through Eco-Agri Revolution, and from Eco-Agri Revolution to the Evergreen Revolution. Over to our Honorable Chancellor, Kunwar Shekhar Vijendra.
Thank you very much, Professor Moni. And indeed, it is an honor for me to be with the eminent scholar, Padmashri Dr. Mehta. I was listening to you, Dr. Mehta, and it was a pleasure to not only understand about your work, but your passion more was very impressive, and it is infectious indeed. Especially when you wanted to show a model, a live model, and from Punjab it was coming. So it shows that how you are spreading your wings and how on actual problems you are trying to work. When you were talking about this today's webinar, which is on doubling the income of farmers through Eco-Agri Revolution, so many important things you have addressed. Professor Moni, I would like to thank you also and your Center for Agriculture Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies for organizing this web series so impactfully that this 45th webinar today, what we are having, is having the same impact, same excitement, and same curiosity among all those who are listening globally in India, policymakers, students, research scholars, bureaucrats, technocrats, startups, and practitioners. That it is the same curiosity and is there that what new will be there. And I am happy that in every episode of this webinar series, there is something new to learn. And today from Padmashri Dr. Mehta, I learned few things. I would like to share on that. I am not an agriculturist, Dr. Mehta. I am a passionate academician. I wish to learn the things. I wish that university should become a platform where we should provide an opportunity to everybody to come and share their ideas. 2, to come and do experiment. And 3, to come and motivate the young generation so that they get empowered with the knowledge of experienced people like you. Regarding ecological agriculture revolution, what you were talking about, you said one thing. We all know that there is a problem. But generally, we do not talk much about the solutions. We do not talk much about the possibilities. We do not talk much about the opportunities available. And in Hindi, there is a saying, I believe you understand it well, Professor Moni, it may be a bit tough for him to understand. Whenever there is a problem, there are 2 things what we can do. वो कहते हैं कि या तो भाग लो या भाग लो. Either you run away from the problem or you participate in the problem. Choice is yours. So भाग लो या भाग लो That is the thing. And I'm happy that a person like you decided to participate, to find solutions for that. We all know about that ecological revolution is needed. Agriculture has to be ecologically, a sustainable model has to be there. When you were talking about cow dung and all those things, Goshala, in India, we always knew this thing. What happened when green revolution came, or even before earlier? I always say that a green revolution was more a chemical revolution because maybe the need of the hour was such. Maybe we needed food more than anything else. But what happened that industrialization of agriculture happened and our complete focus was how to have more yield, compromising everything. And when you say ever green revolution, it speaks something else. It speaks sustainability. It speaks about the nature. It speaks about conservation of everything what we lost in the process in this running around to have more and more and more, which is certainly not going to help much. And ecological farming, what you are advocating, what you are practicing, is naturally it is going to regenerate complete ecosystems. What is needed today? Prevention of all soil erosion is there. Water has to be seen. Soil quality has to be seen. Land has to be maintained. Not many things are there which need to be addressed. And now the question comes how to convert this problem into an opportunity for the people at large. Dr. Mehta, I personally believe that as individuals in India, we have experts. We are doing wonderful uh, in all parts of the nation. But what is missing? Missing is team. As a team, we do not have consolidated platforms. We do not know that if I know something on which platform I should go talk about it, share my experiences so that more and more people can learn. So we all are doing wonders in a small set of people with a small set of people in a small area. At Shobhit University, what we are trying to do, one, we are trying to bring people on this platform. We are requesting them, please come and please share your experiences. Two, I personally invite you on behalf of the university and on my behalf, if we can develop some awareness programs, if we can have some micro certification programs, maybe about your model 2020. The country has to know beyond 2020 series in cricket. They have to know about there is a 2020 model developed by Dr. Mehta also for the farmers, where is talking about 20% more production at 20% less cost. And it is possible. So maybe we can develop some small modules which we can share with the students. We can encourage a student in choice-based credit system, what a new education policy has brought. That, okay, you can have 2 credits if you go through this program. And these credits can be for engineers, managers, advocates, agriculture students, anybody, whosoever is there in the university. It is an open credit. Come and take it. This is one thing. Two, as we are having a faculty of agriculture also in the university, we can develop a small research farm, maybe a very small one, a model farm in the university with your expertise, where we can do those experiments. Because generally what happens, like I was seeing that video which was shown by you of Punjab. We all talk about pollution, we talk about problems, but we are not talking about solutions. When you say with technology, solutions can be there, but integration of that technology with real life problems, integration of that technology with real people, and those real people are such unorganized mob that we do not know where that real farmer is. The masses, in the villages, small places where neither technology can go nor in digital India, even the internet is going properly. We have to make them aware, and they can be made aware through these students, because the student community represent everybody. They represent them also. They are coming from those areas also. So this is my request. If we can work together in these areas, so definitely what Honorable Prime Minister said on August 15th from the Red Fort, Chota Kisan Bane Desh Ki Shan. So my always concern is Chota Kisan, the last man, the actual farmer who is bringing food for me and you, who is putting his life. And it is not like that he couldn't do anything else, but he decided to remain in villages. He decided to be happy when we called him backward. When we say अच्छे से कुछ और नहीं आता होगा इसलिए किसान बन गया. But they are actually the food givers. They are actual annadata. So we have to make our small farmer the pride of this nation. And we have to ensure that we are proud of them. And that can only happen when these all studies, experiments, whatever we are doing, we can take them to their families through their children, students, young generation, and do some experiments. So I invite you, Dr. Mehta, to be a part of this journey of empowerment youth through education. And I compliment you, congratulate you, and convey my gratitude that you are doing something which is really important in a country like India. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Respond to some of the observations the Honorable Chancellor has conveyed. Over to Dr. Mehta.
Yes, I'm really very happy to hear this. And like, I showed in one of the slides, the one of the best way of teaming up, as the Honorable Chancellor has very rightly said. And we all need to team up together. And when the first model was tried, it was a collective effort of the industry like Gujarat Life Sciences and an agriculture university. Now that brings not only a lot of credibility for the whole thing, but the acceptance on the farmers level, the technology going becomes much faster. So I'm really very happy that a very enlightened vision is available with a university level like this. And I'm sure this can go a long way. We can definitely create this kind of situation. I think it would be one of the noble way of serving this country. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Padmashri, Dr. Mehta ji, and Honorable Chancellor for your participation, and also were able to have a very effective, address on the topic, the doubling of farmer income through Eco-Agriculture Revolution. And you said it that, in the beginning, Padmashri Dr. Mehta said it that it is a very important webinar world over. And he said it is very unique in the nature, and it is a long way, in facilitating, in people, policymakers, and other related stakeholders, for a better future. And in such type of webinars, he said it that it is going to have a long-term effect, because it is not like 20 minutes presentation or 5 minutes presentation. Today, I think is more about 2 hours discussion on a simple topic. It's a complete value chain that anybody, whether let it be an young entrepreneur or progressive farmer or a research scholar or a startup, if listens to this, talk, It is available in the university's website. And it is going to be something like a lifelong impact on the people, on the stakeholders to get into this eco-friendly agriculture or agroecological farming. And it is he also said it that he brought it as a mission. It is a mission of Dr. Mehta's life. Even though I have been interacting with him for the last 20 years, he invited me to deliver a talk in this Dhirubhai Ambani Institute of Information Technology, where he, on the basis of many of my discussion, he started an MSc in IT in agriculture. I used to go over there to deliver talk. Then that has resulted in formation of as an Indian Association for IT in Agriculture. He is the founder president, and I am the vice president for Northern region. But after some time, it has not taken. Today, I requested him that we have to revive it. And even though you are, we have crossed. He has crossed 70, and I am at 68. But still, we are very young in our heart, and we have to revive this Indian Association for Information Technology. This is called IAITA in association with Asian Federation of Information Technology or European Federation of Information Technology in Agriculture, or the American Federation of Information Technology in Agriculture. So he agreed that we will have it, and we'll also have the secretariat from the Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology with the permission of the Honorable Chancellor, Shri Kunwar Shekhar Vijendra, because this is the only private university having Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance and Research Studies in the whole world, which is launched M.Tech in Agricultural Informatics, B.Tech in Agricultural Informatics, PG Diploma and Diploma, to bring rural youths to get into agriculture through IT in agriculture. Padmashri, Dr. Mehta ji, you said it very rightly that digital technology, when 40 years back, then we had the technology, but it took only 6% of the farmers only got the technology, green revolution technology. Even with that, we are able to bring green revolution in the country. Now we can reach every farmer through the digital technology. So the thing is that digital transformation in agriculture, as we said it, this university, the Center for Agricultural Informatics, and as the chairman of this center, we participated in doubling farmers' income by 2022 committee report, volume 12B, and 7 mission board projects. And with the people like you who are a veteran in the field, and I read your interview moving from Gujarat, Bhavanagar to Mumbai, and then beyond. It was a very important journey which you have addressed, and the way in which you got interviewed by the then director in IIT Mumbai for your BTech, and how you were able to face the interview and got chemical engineering when they were ready to offer civil engineering. You said that no, let me get into chemical engineering. And it is a very important journey which you have undertaken, and we are very happy to have your association with university as rightly invited by the Honorable Chancellor to promote your 2020 model. The rural youths are very much interested in 2020 cricket model, but this university, the Honorable Chancellor, they are the third generation in education service. They know what is education, how is education, and where the education should be. And this is the only first university to have agricultural informatics as a research area. And so with your participation, and you are the man, you made on that time it is the largest agriculture university in Asia, that is Gujarat Agriculture University, which you made it to put it as a 3 agriculture university in Gujarat in your time, in that time. And I know about it personally, and we also signed an MOU when I was in the service to establish Agriculture Resources Information System. So your 2020 model, and Shobhit Institute of Engineering Technology deemed to be university, which has got an agriculture discipline, agricultural informatics discipline, bioengineering discipline, and the director, the Dean Agriculture Science Research is Professor BK Garg himself is a microbiologist. And so the thing is that today's talk, it's something like as an important research bridge between this your institution and your mission and the our university to bring in this 2020 model and to the the state of Uttar Pradesh and northern part of India very effectively. So with this, I would like to thank both our guests, both you, Padmashri, Dr. M.H. Mehta ji, and our Honorable Chancellor, Shri Kunwar, Shri Vijendra, for participation and making this webinar today is very meaningful, very interactive, and will have a long-term impact in the rural economy. So with this, I thank you very much, and we'll close the webinar and leave the studio. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. So thanks for your participation and greeting from Shobhit University. For more research inquiries, please contact Professor Emeritus, Chairman, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, and former Director General, National Informatics Center, Government of India, New Delhi. My email ID is moni@shobhituniversity.ac.in. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. Close the webinar.